All right. This one right here, I'm going to start off with posting. That's a link to the missing women of Hardin, Montana. That's a video that I made in March, I believe, of 2019. You know how long it's taken people to actually speak up and say something and fucking do something? I had to do something. I was in Hardin, Montana, and they told me how many missing people there are in the area. And I made that video, the one that I just posted up the link to in the live chat. 10 months later, Selena Not Afraid was killed, froze to death. Let's see, copy video URL. This one right here was from 6 months ago. That's right, it took them at least that long. Take a look at this shit. It took that long for the media to do something about this shit. Now we ought to listen to this one together. So we're going to listen to it on my phone. Hopefully y'all will be able to hear it. Sorry about the wait. History. Oh. Well, apparently that didn't work. So we'll go to the missing women of Hardin, Montana. All right, here's one of them.
Well, a new documentary filmed in Hardin seeks to raise awareness about Montana's missing and murdered Indigenous persons cases. Q2's Russ Riesinger talked to the host of that film to find out more.
Juliet Hayes is a member of the Coushatta tribe of Louisiana, which has taken an active role in trying to address the MMIW crisis. She admits she was shocked at how many people have gone missing in Bighorn County in recent years.
I'm here to find out why this county, with fewer than 14,000 residents, and this small reservation border town Hardin, has been called the epicenter of the MMIWG tragedy. As an Indigenous woman,
Imagine that. You know how many of the places that I have been on the news against him. Oh, unstable connection. All right. But what happened with Waylon Lolotai? He eventually lost his job. He assaulted at least 6 other individuals that he assumed were homeless in 2018. At least 6. That's just what was caught on camera. Imagine that. With the missing women of Hardin, Montana. That's another one of those things where people wanted to pretend like I was making it up. Well, does it sound like I'm making it? Which, great, unstable connection again. Fucking A. There's a lot of this stuff happening. A lot of it. Now, people want to ignore it when I say it. Well, give credit where credit is due. I spoke out about Waylon Lolotai, and I was right. I spoke up about what happened in Hardin, Montana, and I was right. I spoke up about what was happening at Clearview, and I was right. How many times do I have to be fucking right before you listen? Meanwhile, the same two asshats who always get on and dislike my videos, no matter what. Those two asshats are going to get on here. They're not going to care about the subject matter. They're not going to care about these human lives. All they care about is having someone to troll, someone to victimize over the death of Natalie Bollinger. And in reality, it's not even over the death of Natalie Bollinger. It's about an victim. They can victimize me and get away with it, so it's okay. In their minds, it is acceptable to harm me because nobody cares. Nobody cares enough to actually do something. And it's sad. Now, then there's the whole thing about the likes button. You know, when you like something, it goes to a video list of things that you liked. And a lot of people, they don't want that to be clogging up their videos and clogging up their this is, that's, and the others. I get that. You don't have to like my videos. You don't have to dislike my videos. I don't post these for likes or for dislikes. I post them, there's a goddamn problem and it needs to be fucking fixed. I'm not just whining on Facebook. I'm not just whining on fucking YouTube. I am speaking out about major issues. I am trying to get help stopping these things. When Selena Not Afraid disappeared, I had so many people that wanted to pretend like I was some sort of sick, nasty bastard. They were accusing me of killing Natalie again. Like, hell, not only did they have the guy who killed Natalie, he admitted to killing Natalie. He is in prison for. Let's see, right here. Now, this right here is slander. But we're going to post it here, copy, and we'll put it up here for you guys to see. Many of the people who saw my name, and there was a lot of the haters who got on when Selena Not Afraid disappeared to say, oh, well, he killed some girl in fucking Virginia. Like, first of all, Natalie wasn't killed in Virginia. She was killed in Colorado. Second of all, is unstable again. Fucking A. I hate that unstable connection bullshit. Now, talk about people being murdered. They're being murdered by exposure. That's what that very first video talks about. They drive these Native Americans out into the middle of nowhere and drop them off. They do the same thing in Arizona. The difference is in Montana, they'll drop your ass in the middle of a blizzard without a jacket and maybe even without shoes. In Arizona, they'll drop you off in the middle of the desert without any water. It is still murder. Meanwhile, Hardin Police Department, or Hardin County, or Hardin Sheriff's Department, wanted to say that Selena Not Afraid's death was of natural causes because she died of exposure. No, she was put there. That makes it murder. Selena Not Afraid was murdered by exposure, the very same tactic that police nationwide to murder the homeless. You make it illegal for us to use a blanket. There aren't enough shelter beds for all of us, not by a long shot. There are over 4,000 homeless people in Boulder County, and there are less than 200 beds. And you got to cut that. Unstable connection again. Fucking A. Let's press play on this. There's a lot of these, by the way. While this is playing, I'll be looking for some other ones to put up for you.
So my heart just completely broke for all of these families. I couldn't imagine what they were going through. And it was just, it's absolutely gut-wrenching.
Say Your Name focuses on the cases of Kaysera Stop's Pretty Places, Selena Not Afraid, and Henny Scott, 3 young Native American women who went missing and were later found dead. The cause of death for Not Afraid and Scott was determined to be hypothermia, Well, no cause of death was found for Stop's Pretty Places, whose body was discovered in broad daylight near a busy road in Hardin 5 days after she was reported missing.
I know she was placed here, and there's foul play because she didn't just die from a drug overdose or a seizure or anything.
There was no help to them. These families, they have to do investigations on their own. They have to go out and find answers. They have to figure out and put pieces to the puzzle together.
That's absolutely right. See, these news agencies, they're literally repeating the things that I said years ago. They are finally hopping on board. They are finally speaking out. Yes, these Native Americans have very little to no help from law enforcement. The situation with Selena Not Afraid when she disappeared, there was more help to try to find her than any other Native American that I have ever even heard of that has gone missing. And a lot of that has to do with the exposure from the video that I made. When someone speaks out, yeah, they want to do everything in their power to prove that person wrong. You spend your whole life being a rapist, right? But then someone exposes you for being a rapist, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, rape is wrong. I've been fighting for women's rights for blah, blah, blah. But no, the fuck you haven't. You're a goddamn rapist. Same thing goes for the police. The police are raping the fuck out of us. They're murdering us in record numbers. And I'm talking about the homeless, not Native Americans. There is one group that has it worse than all these groups combined, literally. There are more hate groups or more